Nick Itkin, the teenage sensation, trying to break his way into the USA team. Just 19 years old, but already in the top 30 in the world, goes up against the world #1 and the man of the moment in men's foil, Alessio Facconi from Italy. This is something special about to happen here in Shanghai. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me, a very excited Greg Macialis, head of the men's foil program in the United States of America. And Greg, what a massive problem you have on your hands. This young man is the real deal.
Yes, and it's wonderful to have him because we have the same squad we've had for a long time, four fencers, and he's broken into that now, and it really helps motivate, I think, everybody internally. And so not only for current situation, but certainly for the future, bodes well for the future.
Absolutely. As
we go from, these Olympics, of course, and we're looking towards Tokyo and subsequently Paris and eventually Los Angeles. And of course, he's from Los Angeles. So I think that, there's a good crop of fencers, but I think that as the next generation comes up, he's certainly leading the pack.
Well, Greg Macialis is an expert in foil, clearly an expert in the American program, has a bit of a headache on his hands, but what a nice headache to have. Here we go. It's time for gold here in Shanghai. Nick Itkin, the teenager from the USA, up against the world #1, Alessio Facconi. All the pressure is on the Italian. Nick Itkin can just go out there and have fun.
And that's what he's doing. I like the way he's moving around. Took a little bit of a gamble.
Oh, that is a beauty.
That's his bread and butter, that false attack, parry repos off the 6th side. Wonderful action.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
Nice as well.
Nice change up with a counterattack into that. That's a good news. What's happening is Facconi's chasing Itkin. That's a good thing for Nick, because he's chasing him, and Nick is being patient and managing the situation quite well.
Facconi just missed that.
Yes, but part of it is also the change of timing when he did it sort of surprised him a little bit.
Looking for parry riposte, but this time landing off target. He's looking like he doesn't care that it's a Grand Prix final.
Exactly. He's just fencing, which is beautiful.
What do you think, Greg, is the difference between, for Nick Itkin, a silver medal at the Grand Prix is his best result to date, and he will walk away a happy man, I'm sure.
Right.
But what is the difference between him actually walking away with silver and doing the real deal against the world champion and winning this one?
Well, in terms of points, obviously FIE points, it's going to give him a big push and hopefully get him to the point where he can be in the top 16 in the world rankings, which obviously you get a bye to the second day, and that's a very big thing. And he's going to actually have a good opportunity to get a lot of points and make that happen. In terms of also the U.S. points, there'll be obviously an additional thing. But more importantly, I think it gives him the courage that he can be successful at the highest level emotionally. And I think that is probably the most important thing right now. And as they're trying to resolve some issues here.
Yeah, there was a video call.
See, the guy is not following the machine. And that's the problem.
Yeah, the cameraman on the video, we're just sort of having a look at the referee just miking up here. The guy that's running the referee's camera is not following the action. So when the athlete legitimately calls for a video appeal here,
there's nothing there.
There's no picture and there's no replay, so there's nothing for the referee to make a decision on. So it's a tricky one for sure. The call here is whether Facconi is building up and then finishing his attack, or whether Itkin has managed to steal the time and the tempo on the attack on preparation.
Willie caught him looking, and then he went after him. That's the situation. Now they kind of got the camera, they're trying to work it out. But this is why we have technology, right?
Who's that on the right-hand side? There's the baby
And
Macialis.
there's a little suppressor too next to her. One down.
Yeah, 2 down from there. And then there was Tommaso Marini as well, who made the quarterfinals here. Another 19-year-old sensation. Foil, men's foil has got a couple of from around the world as well.
Right.
That's a nice thing about it.
Right.
It's not just one country producing all these people. They're coming from all over the place.
Well, I think to a large degree, we've helped motivate a lot of countries to look at us and say, hey, these guys are doing this stuff. We need to get on board, or else we're going to get overtaken in certain situations. So you see, actually, a lot of these countries that in the past would not have almost allowed these young fencers to even participate in these events, but not only allow them to participate, but help push them and promote them into being successful. And you see that with the Italians, you see with the Russians. I think there's a little bit more of a youth movement, which is only a good thing across the board.
You know, I said yesterday that there is one standout performer in the women's foil this season. Putting aside the obvious, Volpi, Darren Ladzova, Francisca, Kiefer, there is one real superstar in the making, and she's north of your borders. The Canadian, Jessica
Young
Gura,
girl, 13 years old, 14.
264s, 232s. She made a 64 here to make it her third 64 of the season, and she got a quarter-final at the World Cup. I mean, it's incredible for a 13-year-old. Well, we're back underway here for the men's gold medal match. Whatever was the problem has been resolved, and I think someone's given the cameraman a bit of a tick.
Beautiful attack and preparation.
And Itkin, the teenage sensation from the USA, is, well, he's entertaining all of us, especially Mr. Macialis sitting next to me.
It's okay. One touch here, it's all right. What I like about him, he's free. He's doing different things, you know? His actions are small. Look at his technique. It's all good.
Oh.
Beautiful. He's not worried about actions. He just sees it, feels it, and does it. It's a thing of beauty.
Freedom is a rare thing to see.
Look at
another one, the reaction now. Now you're seeing a natural side to the fencing. Now you're seeing him using just what's innate, what's in his body. This nice sharp para riposte. Of course, he's trained it time and time and time again. I think that's Iman Blow there cheering him on, the American women's foilist. There's a few of you guys in the crowd, actually, just looking around.
We see both Kiefer, Lee Kiefer, who was a graduate of Notre Dame, and who, of course, Nick goes to Notre Dame, so they both have a Notre Dame connection.
Notre Dame, the university.
Right. It's one of the big major fencing universities and you know, obviously top university.
Yeah,
as well.
one of the good top universities in the US, but also, as you say, Greg, one of the ones very famous for its fencing program.
Of which my daughter just graduated today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sabrina Macialis, well done to you, and best wishes on your road to recovery from injury. We look forward to seeing you back on the circuit.
Yes, absolutely. I think that she's looking forward to it herself. She's been very frustrated because she hasn't been able to do anything.
Yeah, you can only explain the frustration when you're on the sidelines for a period of time, and so we hope to see her back on the scene here. But it's Nick Itkin who's really just shone today. He is the superstar of the moment in the US program, and he's giving the world champion something really serious to think about.
Right. He's settling down. Before he was just sort of charging in. Now he's a little more cautious. Let's see if Nick picks his moment to attack.
Still early days in this fight in terms of the scoreline and, of course, the time. We're just in the first period with a little over 30 seconds to go in it. The scoreline not even at the halfway stage yet. And as
Whoa,
Greg said,
but
the
he's
fight's
gone.
just slowed down a little bit, but we've just been waiting for the explosive response from Nick Itkin, and there it was. And each single one of these hits will be a real crushing blow, and will put a little bit of fear into Facconi.
Like this one is like out of the blue, just created an action. He didn't hit, but hey, the fact that he had the freedom to let it fly, you know, that's a good thing.
No, it's lovely to see. And he's just doing up his shoelace here. He's
No, he's
undoing it
thinking about
first.
Of course.
So a little bit of thinking
It
time.
has nothing to do, exactly. These are all the things that he's learned from his dad, and also from, you know, training with all the Russians who have all these little games about little,
It's all well within the rules.
right.
They're not breaking any rules. Of course, the referee will smell a rat if you do it too often. Itkin, though, trailing or leading 8-6 here in this gold medal match, and I think that's his attack. Oh no, it's given as attack on.
Facconi was going slowly, and he tried to surprise him, but
We'll get a replay of it here, and you can just see, doesn't look like Facconi's moving, but the arm is moving forwards constantly.
slowly wiggling along, you know.
Lovely little steps from the Italian, trying to find his way back into this. It's a real test of character now for the American, as Facconi lands another attack and
Same
draws
thing.
level.
I think Nick needs to push a little bit. He's letting him. There you go. Now this is an interesting one.
Well,
Let's see what's the story.
now the question really is this an attack from Facconi?
No, I think he's holding back. He's looking patiently, and Nick takes the initiative and goes.
Yeah, a bit of a sort of almost an épée hit, really, closing out the blade of his opponent to go back into the lead. The Italian coach isn't happy, that's for sure.
Right, but I do believe it's just too much looking. You know what I mean? It's like too much of a.
Yeah, there's a big debate, isn't there, at the moment in foil about what constitutes an attack. If you're on social media, I'm sure you've seen the
Rules
debates.
written more than 100 years ago, but you know, the game's changed a lot, so we need to kind of get with it. You know.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting for me, Greg, that now we're seeing a little bit of a hark back to the days when I was competing internationally. We're seeing a bit more of a broken time attack, and that I think is coming from the fact that a lot of the fencers in foil, both men and women, are looking for a counter attack.
Correct, exactly. So there's this slow moving, hiding the blade preparation, which kind of like distinguishes, and then it becomes this gray area. Are you really hiding your blade to do something? Are you really provoking to make something happen? And so that's the area, that's the gray area. That's when he was pushing. Anything I go forward, like in this situation here.
He stops there and looks for it. But what I mean is that I think you're right. We've seen this slow approach from everybody. Alex is a great exponent of the blade coming from what seems not to be a threatening position, but it is a threatening position because it's coming forwards and towards the target.
Correct.
But some fencers now are starting to adopt what was around 20 odd years ago, where they start the attack, pull the arm back to draw the parry, and then finish.
Yeah.
So these broken time attacks are becoming a bit of an in vogue thing.
Yes, and they're being given the right of way in certain situations, because all of a sudden you see it, the person coming, and then they pull back, but then the other person's coming while they're. So it's kind of like becoming this gray area that they're trying to figure out as the game evolves.
Yeah,
you know?
and the video becoming an even more crucial part of foil. We're back underway here. The gold medal match here at the Shanghai Grand Prix. Alessio Facconi, the world #1 and world champion from Italy, up against the young pretender from the USA, Nick Itkin.
Not a pretender. He's the real deal.
He certainly is. He really is a very special. And when he's moving freely, he's absolutely deserves to be in this gold medal position. And those parry ripostes are really, I think,
sharp and crisp.
Just it's such a trademark as well, as you were hinting at. You refer to it as his bread and butter.
Right. He's being patient.
Oh! I think both of them had a couple of bites of the cherry there.
Yeah.
So all
Nobody
level.
was willing to commit fully, and finally Facconi put it on to level it out.
But for me, that's more encouraging for Nick Itkin than it is for Alessio Facconi.
Of course. Ooh. The The difference is Falcone's going forward when this is happening. So if the action occurs, it's going to be Falcone's touch. So Nick has to be a little careful of that.
Yeah,
It's good that he's changed up now. He's going forward a little bit.
and looking for the blade as well. And a nice parry riposte in the middle of that. He pulls out of the attack to find a prime parry and tries to land the riposte. It's such a fine margin between the very, very good fencers and the absolutely top-notch, brilliant natural ones. Itkin's got shades of being complete natural talent.
Right. And on top of that is how you like fencing that day. Rise into the right moment, you know. And I think all of that has got him going right now. Let's see. See, now this change of foil has nothing to do with the foil. It's like regroup when we're going to do next touch.
So he tried to parry riposte, didn't land the riposte, tried to immediately redouble off the riposte, so go for it again. The right of way switched over to Falcone, and he was slow, patient, and ready just to take his opportunity and land the hit. He's taken the lead, but it's still very tight here for gold in Shanghai.
Let's see, Nick comes up with. Let's see, listen to what his dad told him, and then he also got on guard. Let's see what the tactic is. Ooh, he missed it. He had his chance. Caught him in preparation.
Falcone has 2 bronze medals and a silver at this tournament over the past 4 or 5 years. He really wants the gold medal, and he's edging closer towards it. World #1 starting to take a little bit more control of this fight in the second period.
Yeah, Nick stopped moving on this last action. Had he kept his feet moving, I think he would have had a better shot at getting the point on. But he kind of got stuck and he just started sort of jabbing away. Nice, ooh, nice change up. Change the target to 6 and flip the shoulder. Beautiful catch.
Another attempt at the blade.
Oh, and got him on the second action.
First counter riposte is no, it's parried by Itkin. Itkin gets a second counter riposte and draws level. And here we see that final action. He finds the blade and
finally puts it on.
Yeah, Falcone trying desperately to go around the back of his neck, but didn't have the right of way. All level again. Itkin is like a dog with a bone.
See, change his foil, got himself set. Sometimes it's also not necessarily just a change of tactic. It's just like just give yourself a little bit of a. Oh, too bad. Again, twice he's done that. He's always shot the target, went point too high, and missed the target and got hit.
Is he starting just a little bit too far away on those attacks as well? Giving
It's
Falcone
okay,
the
but he's just with his hand, he's going a little too high up. Nice.
Finds the blade as Falcone steps in. That's a beat attack on preparation. Using old school terminology, and a nice hit to the shoulder as well.
Beautiful. I mean, he's got it. He's again beautiful.
He's after this now. He knows there's a big opportunity now. He's 2 points away from the biggest result of his career, and against the reigning world champion.
Oh, he got the blade. Yeah.
Well, Itkin calls for a video. I think this again is he's throwing this one away. He's burning this video. He knows that's a parry riposte, but he just wants to find a little bit time to calm his nerves and settle down. The referee's back already, and I think we know what the result is going to be. Parry riposte.
Fino.
It's all level.
Come on, Nick.
Oh, misses again. This time going low.
So it's like
so high before and then low this time.
Too hot, too cold, a bit in the middle now.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Falcone won away from gold in this thriller here in Shanghai. Pressing the Italian, goes for it, and it's a counter-attack
14-all.
Itkin, and you couldn't ask for more, Greg Macialis. It's 14 apiece between the world #1 and the USA's new superstar, Nick Itkin.
Come on, Nick.
Itkin controlling his defense, going backwards, trying to find the blade. Oh, that's close. That's really close. He found the blade, had the right of way, but hit off target.
So close.
Can he control his nerves here?
Let's see here. goes on.
Is Licio Facconi surely is the favourite at this stage. World #1 and the world champion from Italy. No fake one. Finds the blade again in close quarters.
It's off target again.
The counter
It's
riposte.
off target, so it'll kill you, you know? It's just one of those, put it on. Now he's going to think about what he needs for this one touch. Opponent will take the same time to make an action.
Itkin doing up that shoelace again. It's been a bit of a pain for him. He's having to undo it up a couple of times in this fight.
Yeah, well, the other shoe now.
Facconi looking on. He's breathing hard as well. The pressure's on.
One touch, there's not much to do. It's just got to like suck it up and go for it.
This for gold in Shanghai.
Ooh, shoot.
He's going to have a look at this one. But for me, if the
Facconi's-
referee's going to stay consistent, the slow approach from Facconi is going to give him this one. And Nick Itkin doesn't break the time. The
He looks for
referee's
the
back
parry.
already.
Yeah.
And the referee's going to call this one. Masks on, gentlemen. That's a requirement.
Yeah.
And there you go. The attack goes to the world #1 and the reigning world champion. Licio Facconi is the champion of the Shanghai Grand Prix. But boy, what a superstar in the making we have with Nick Itkin, the 19-year-old from the USA. He took him right to the wire, but Facconi wins it, 15-14.
Brilliant fencing, brilliant fencing. Really, Facconi had to do everything in his power to take over. Nick really did a tremendous job. You couldn't be, you know, this could have been 2 off targets, would have been a touch, you know what I mean? This is the whole thing. And then at the end, just a little more experience, it pulls it off.
More to come, I'm sure, from Nick Itkin, but standing on top of the podium coming up very shortly will be Licio Facconi. He did it in the end, but it was 15-14. He got a big shot. Nick Itkin's coach and dad, a little rueful, but I'm sure he'll be smiling tomorrow. Greg Macialis, it's been an absolute pleasure.